The most fraudulent pirate of today versus the most fraudulent marine in history, arguably. I'm just chatting. What's up, guys? Today I'll be making a video that my buddy Jazz recommended to me. Shoutouts to the GOAT. I saw this image and figured why not actually make it into a video, since both characters have some of the most controversial scaling and hold a status within the One Piece community that I want to at least address in this video. And also, upon further analysis, I actually found this matchup to be very interesting and it's pretty close. The reason I want to address pre-time skip is because it does actually help clear up a lot of the points for this debate. Before Blackbeard got his second fruit and was considered to be unstoppable, he was already pretty powerful. He managed to straight up beat Ace, the same guy who was able to clash with Aokiji and react to Akainu, meaning already in speed, he should be able to block and evade his attacks. Now, after getting completely decimated by Crippled Beard, he would get the last laugh and proceed to kill him and then somehow steal his devil fruit. And with this, Blackbeard not only holds one of the most powerful fruits, that being the darkness fruit that allows him to negate other devil fruit abilities, but now he arguably has the strongest fruit in terms of power, that being the Gura Gura. And we've already seen, based off Whitebeard using the Gura Gura, that he can clash with Akainu, and Blackbeard performs a similar feat to Whitebeard at the beginning of Marineford. So not only can this version of Blackbeard harm and react to Akainu, but he also has the ability to negate his devil fruit. Now, based off this, you guys are probably just thinking, okay, this match isn't close, and Blackbeard surely should just beat him up after attaining both fruits, right? Well, not exactly. We see in Akainu's fight with Whitebeard, not only does he fight a less weakened one, but somehow survives an off-guard attack from an enraged Whitebeard. He was even confident enough to take on Crocodile, Jozu, and Marco, plus the other commanders, which is really insane, I'm not gonna lie. We even see Von Augur after the war sensing Akainu hunting them down, and he believes that the best course of action is to run. Now, to be fair, Blackbeard should be weakened from the war, but so is Akainu, and if anything, Akainu is in a worse state. We also do have stuff confirming that Von Augur can, like, sense someone's power, or, you know, at least someone's presence to an extent. But another thing to consider is that Blackbeard's members are all kind of trash right now. Like, none of them had devil fruits, and the plan was to get devil fruits. So maybe you could try and use that to say, okay, that's the reason why Blackbeard is running away. But something to consider is something that I mentioned earlier, which is Blackbeard getting completely speed blitzed by the weakest version of Whitebeard. Which, mind you, during Akainu's fight with Whitebeard, granted, he was declining in health, but he should be stronger than the one that Blackbeard fought. Plus, he literally fought an enraged Whitebeard, and despite being off guard, he still somehow threw another attack after being hit twice. To be honest, Blackbeard shouldn't have gotten that much faster from attaining another devil fruit. And if you go back to other feats like Sengoku completely overwhelming this man, and Akainu more or less should be on this tier of speed, I feel like more evidence points out to Akainu, at least in pre-time skip, being stronger. Well, a better way to say it is Akainu would beat Blackbeard in a fight, not necessarily that he's stronger. I do believe Blackbeard has better AP than Akainu. I mean, he showed better AP in pre-time skip. Yes, Akainu's holding back, but again, you cannot quantify that and say that, oh, well, not holding back Akainu is actually stronger than Blackbeard's Quake Punches. But it seems like more or less Akainu could probably get the jump on Blackbeard just because he locks in immediately and always goes in for the killing blow. Whereas not only does Blackbeard like to play with his food, which is why characters like Luffy and Magellan get the jump on him, but Blackbeard also lacks control of both devil fruits at this time. So I do believe it's up for debate, but I honestly would give it to Akainu like 7 or 6 out of 10 times. However, the topic gets a lot more interesting when talking about the egghead versions of these characters. You see, not only did Blackbeard have 2 whole years to master the use of both devil fruits, but now he's showing feats that are definitely Yonko worthy. He does way better against an Awakened Law than Big Mom does, and we actually get to see in this fight just how deadly in conjunction the Gura Gura and the Darkness Fruit really is. On top of that, we also got other scenes like him on Amazon Lily, but that doesn't really mean much. And of course, when talking about Blackbeard scaling, there is the whole narrative of him being the strongest, and oh my god, he has the strongest powers in the series, therefore he's top 1. While the narrative pushes the idea of Blackbeard being the quote-unquote final villain and being the strongest, we do have characters straight up having better scaling to him, or better to other characters. Characters like Old Garp, who based off not being sick and already being relative to characters like Roger and Primebeard when he was younger, should be above Old Whitebeard. Since unlike Garp, rather than only being held back by age, he's also being held back by his sickness that's constantly declining his health. Mind you, this same Old Garp, who arguably is stronger than Old Beard, just went toe-to-toe with Aokiji, who Akainu, after fighting for 10 days straight, beats him up. And you guys might be thinking this is a crazy crazy jump for Akainu, and oh my god, Tyler, like, you weren't saying this back then, you were saying all Garp would just fold Akainu. But to be fair, this was like before all the context of the Garp versus Aokiji fight was revealed, so shut up. Anyway, this line of scaling kind of makes sense, since if you actually look back at Marineford, again, Akainu was holding back and not trying to destroy the area, but rather protect it, and he then had 2 whole years to improve, and plus the fleet admiral is implied to be, you know, above the admirals. And the reason why I'm referring to Oldbeard so much is because I do believe Oldbeard should be above characters like Blackbeard. He was implied before Marineford and him like removing his IVs and constantly dying and getting heart attacks during Marineford. He was straight up the strongest pirate and was clashing with people like Shanks, the same guy who made Kaido retreat. And again, there's stuff like Blackbeard getting off guarded by Law and, you know, performing a little comparably to Big Mom. Granted, he should be stronger, but there are factors in that fight and in this one that should be taken into account. And again, most of the Yonkos are relative with each other anyway. Now, you guys are hearing me yapping about their scaling, but how can we really compare them besides the Oldbeard stuff that's really contentious and there's a lot of stuff to really argue about? Well, an actually easy way to do it is by using Aokiji as a comparison. And depending on your interpretation, it actually makes or breaks this fight. You see, if you think Blackbeard straight up just like is weaker than Aokiji and was like, oh my god, please join my crew, I'll let you be my second in command, and again, Akainu just straight up beats Aokiji, then yes, Akainu does win, and yeah, the video's over. I'm not gonna lie, even as a fellow Blackbeard hater, this line of scaling doesn't sit right with me. Blackbeard's whole intent was for Aokiji to join his crew and to have someone as powerful as him as an ally. Why would he beat him up? What, so he could force him into the crew so when Blackbeard's like sleeping or drinking or whatever, Aokiji could just like neg him? I don't understand. In my honest opinion, I think a fight between Blackbeard and Aokiji would be close, but I think Blackbeard, like Akainu, is slightly above him. And so with this interpretation, it has Blackbeard and Akainu being at a pretty relative level. You have Akainu who straight up beats Aokiji, and you have Blackbeard who's not only his captain, but he also has the Gura, so he could just negate his ice anyway, and use his Devil Fruit to negate his abilities. Which leads me into my next point. If Akainu and Blackbeard are relative with one another, and you have Blackbeard clashing with his Magma Fruit with the Gura while using the darkness to suppress Akainu, there's really nothing I can say that Akainu can do to really overwhelm him. If you guys are going to mention advanced hockey because he showed it off in Marineford, I mean, both characters should have advanced hockey by this point. And again, with the old Whitebeard stuff, it's really weird because again, Akainu's Devil Fruit and Whitebeard's Devil Fruit back in Marineford is relative. We don't know how much stronger Akainu got. But again, with the old Garp stuff, there is a case to be made for Akainu being above Oldbeard. But it's just really hard talking about the Yonko tier of characters just because they are really close in power, I'm not gonna lie. Like, besides with characters like Big Mom, who's just flat out the weakest Yonko, there are a lot of characters who have feats over each other and can be argued to be above one another. But if we are under this belief that these characters are relative, then I'm not gonna lie, Blackbeard is just gonna straight up out-hacks Akainu. But again, if you interpret this panel as, oh my god, Aokiji, please join my crew, please, 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 you can be the secret captain, then you know what, Akainu wins.